Good morning! Yay! Okay, we don't want to see ourselves, so good morning, everyone!
Good morning! Welcome to Minxy Mondays.
Yes, welcome. So, we're here after, what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks on the road. Well, not really the whole time, but we've been traveling since May 31st. We did premiere show in Orlando. That was a blast. Very hot and sweaty there.
Yeah.
It rained a little bit.
And then Vegas.
And then Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
So we want to thank you all for being patient with us for the last few weeks. You know, we missed you. We missed Minxy Mondays. But we didn't miss each other because we traveled together. We had fun. We had lots of fun.
Oh, yes.
So the shows were pretty successful, and we hope that some of you new Minxers that we met at the shows are here with us today. The purpose of Minxy Mondays is to outreach and make sure that you guys, new and old Minxers, we don't want to call you old, we want to call you seasoned Minxers, are, you know, getting what you need from us in by way of, you know, training and things like that. So I am Jen. I am the training coordinator here at Minx, and this is Crystal Rice.
Hi, everyone.
She's our educator here in San Diego, and I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I've been a manicurist for 13 years, and I've been doing Minx for 4 years. I've been known Jen for probably about 3 years. Just love Minx and wanted to help everyone out there worldwide, and I just was dedicated in the product and saw it and knew I needed to be a part of
The Minx revolution.
So between me and Jen here, we're going to be here to help all of you improve your application. And any questions, please use
the chat. Use the chat feature, because Minx admin is on to provide links during the show, and then also to help us answer questions that you have about your application. So hopefully everyone's on now. I try to give the first 5 minutes time for everybody to get on, get your coffee, get whatever you need so that you can settle down and really get involved in Minxy Mondays. And, you know, just so you know, Crystal's the queen of fun, and I'm the boring one. So Crystal got these glasses on our travels, and they just were so perfect. We love them. So she's wearing her super sunglasses. She can see you, but you can't see her.
You don't know me.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is focus on the 7 steps. And the reason that we do this every week is to make sure that those who have signed up and got their kit this week or last week or the last 3 weeks get on and just get a real clear view of what the 7 steps, the basic 7 steps are. This is the most important part of learning Minx, is practicing this, you know, the basic 7 steps. And then today we're going to go into, yay, we're going to go into layering. I love layering. I think it is like a really cool way to take Minx and its designs and, you know, tailor it for yourself. So there's a lot you can do with layering. We're going to have fun with that today. So let's get started.
Yay.
Ready?
All right,
okay.
Let's go.
Grab your drinks. Here we go, Manicam. I got to adjust my seat.
All right. All right, so first off, we're going to do a dry manicure.
Okay, and so just a short history. My nails look terrible right now because we've been working on the road. And also because about, what, 4 weeks ago, I had acrylics put on for one of our sessions here on Minxy Mondays, and it did a lot of damage to my nails. So I have been wearing Minx religiously to protect my nails, and also, you know, adding cuticle oil and, you know, really trying to care for them during the last few weeks so that, you know, Crystal has a decent surface to work with. But they are really flexible. They're very soft and unfortunately pretty damaged on the surface. So
I'm just right now using some alcohol to remove the sticky film that you get when you remove your minks. If you remove them properly, there's like a sticky film that is on your nail, and I mean you can easily use alcohol to remove that, or I like to use some cuticle oil. Let me see your other hand, please, and remove that.
So in the 7 steps, I'm just going to go ahead and call them out now, and then we're going to try to call them out as we actually, you know, go through the process. The first one is we're going to carry out the consultation, shape the nails, and prep the nail surface, which is part of what Crystal is doing now. So then after that, we're going to, well, actually, during that time, we're going to place the minks under the heat and dehydrate the nail plate with rubbing alcohol. So right now she's doing the prep work, obviously, and we have minks actually warming as we speak.
You always want to place your minks under the heat prior to applying them, just because it does take a lot of heat and a lot of pressure to get minks to fully attach to the nail surface. So you want them to be what you know, as warm as possible.
A slow and, you know, pretty intentional heat is the key. So when you're heating minks, you're actually allowing those molecules to free up so that you can change their memory. Because minks is a solid structure that is made up of a chain of molecules, and when you heat them, you allow for the changing of the memory. So it actually does change the shape of minks when you apply heat and then pressure. You're telling minks what its new shape is. Now, it looks like admin is logged in today as Wheel Store Joe. So just so you know, it looks like admin's going to be working from Wheel Store Joe. I think he forgot his password this morning, so we're going to give him a little bit of heck for that. But Wheel Store Joe is our admin guy today, Mr. Joe Jordan. Woo! Woo! Okay, so.
All right, so I'm just still doing a dry manicure, you know, involving pushing back. Mainly want to get all that cuticle up off the nail surface, because minks is like spandex to the nail plate. You will see all those imperfections. So any way to make it nice and smooth, if that means, you know, doing some sort of add-on service with your minks application, then that is part of a consultation that we recommend here at Minx to do with every client that sits down in your chair. So today we will be putting
There you go. Perfect. There we go.
we will be putting on one of Lisa Logan's new designs, which is Scribble Me Black and White. It looks like graffiti art. It's a really fun minx. And if you haven't seen it, it just came out.
So you're gonna look for a launch announcement on Lisa Logan's new line here in the next few days.
Which, if you were at the trade show, especially Vegas, you got to see that line. Something that we do exclusively for those technicians that come to the trade shows.
It's a little pre-launch.
We try to have something fun every time we do a trade show. Just make sure that you're doing a dry manicure. You're not doing a wet manicure. We do not recommend doing a wet manicure.
When you soak the hand or the nails, it tends to expand the nail plate. When you apply Minx to an expanded nail plate, and that nail plate then does, you know, come back to normal size, then the Minx is not adhered correctly to the surface. So you want to keep the nail plate from expanding during the process of your manicure.
And just think about it as, you know, any other type of molecular structure. You wouldn't do it for gels and acrylics or shellac. It's the same concept. They're all done with a dry manicure. Alright, so now after your dry manicure, then that's when we're going to use some alcohol. We recommend 90% or better.
If at any point during the application process anyone has questions, please feel free to use the chat feature to ask those questions. We are monitoring that chat, and Joe may be able to answer questions like where can I find the training video online or any of that information. We're happy to share anything we have available to you. So please reach out if there are any needs that we're not reaching.
Now also remember, when you use alcohol, you want to use some lint-free wipes and really make sure you get all that debris off the nail surface. We recommend 2 sheets for each, 10 fingers. One to really make sure you break down that dirt and oil, and the second to really remove it.
So we hope everyone out there had a wonderful Father's Day. I don't know if it's celebrated across, around the world yesterday, but we want to wish all you dads out there happy Father's Day.
So I'm just over here heating up my Minx, getting my heat on. And then I'm placing the Minx right back under the heat with the adhesive side up for a few seconds, and then I'm placing it right on the nail. And you want to tap from the middle and work to the sides, and with some pressure. You get about 20 seconds for the Minx to fully cool down. So you do want to work, on a good amount of speed, but if you can't work fast, it's okay. Just remember not to work when it starts to really get cold.
So once you feel that the nail is cooling off, you want to reapply heat so that you can continue your process. So, just because the Minx have cooled down doesn't mean, oh, I'm finished now. You need to make sure that you've, pushed that Minx into the nail. You've applied pressure, that, the Minx is sealed down.
And again, you don't want to just do it one time. You have to change that memory of the Minx. So you need to warm it up quite a few times. We recommend at least a minimum of 3 times. And depending on your skill level and how much heat you're using, you might have to use a couple more. And you want to heat it up, put pressure on it, turn the heat off with pressure on it, and let it cool for 20 seconds with pressure. And as you keep doing that, you can tell by looking at the Minx how much it keeps shrink wrapping to the nail plate. Oh, I can see Logan. Huh? Okay, and now Jen's got a really short nail.
Extremely short and extremely soft.
Yeah, very soft. So I'm gonna actually trim her nails with, at the free edge with scissors.
Okay, so what I want to do is really quickly just review the 7 steps and where we are right now. We carried out the consultation, shaped the nails, and prepped the nail surface while the Minx was under heat. We dehydrated the nail plate using rubbing alcohol and removed all debris. We removed the Minx from the sheet and placed it under the heat until it was floppy and applied it to the nail plate, which was step 3. Step 4 is warm up the Minx while on the nail plate and apply the pressure to the Minx, which is kind of what we're doing now until it cools. Once the nails cool, remove the excess Minx with a Minx file or use a trimming method. So Crystal's going to show us the next part of that step.
And you got to remember every nail's different, so every this part when you remove the excess will be different on every nail depending on the structure of the nail, the type of nail you're working on, things like that. So in Jen's case, because she's got a soft nail and kind of short, we're going to use the trimming method. And if you used enough heat and pressure, you can see where the nail ends through the Minx.
Yeah, you can actually see an outline of the free edge right at the surface of the Minx. So it's really cool because you can actually see an imprint. You have a kind of a pattern to follow and a line to follow.
And then I'm going to go back in and get the edge with the curved file. And just remember, anytime you trim or file, you will have to place it back under the heat because you broke that seal.
Wow, Allie, thank you. Allie says, love you gals. Thank you so much for this online training and a great morning to all the viewers. Well, thank you.
Oh,
we
thanks.
love you too. Gosh, I'm blushing. I'm blushing. We're really, really, really happy to be here. I can't express how, important we think this is, and we're really happy that you think it's important too. And we hope that you have fun joining us for Minxy Mondays. So awesome. Looks like H. Wally, and you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not good at trying to figure out what somebody's username is, but Wally, I'm gonna try Wally. She says he or she says, I was wondering if it's advisable to perform a pedicure after Minx have been applied. Well, Crystal will address this after we get through the 7 steps. And please know that, if you post a question, we may not answer it immediately because it just may not apply to where we are in our application, and we don't want to get lost in the process. So we will address that question shortly after we finish the 7 steps. Thank you. Thank you.
So after removing the excess, I placed it back under the heat. I've applied more pressure to reseal the edge. And again, heat and pressure. Remove the heat, hold the pressure for 20 seconds. And you want to do it a couple times. Depending on how much heat you're using and how much pressure you're using. You do want to do it a couple more times. And again, it's not about how much time you have it under the heat. It's really how much heat and pressure by looking at it. So,
that's why we say you have to do 10 sets, because you're going to learn what that means, what heat actually does to the Minx, and in the process how it changes.
And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to check the edge and make sure I got a nice seal. And then I'm going to have Jen check it to make sure I got a nice seal.
Fabulous. Love it.
Alright. And
voila. Oh, wow.
voila. Okay. And you can see Logan. Lisa Logan.
Lisa Logan. Okay, so do you want to address that question about the pedicures? We're gonna switch cameras real quick. Everybody ready? Oh, move your seat up.
I'm a midget.
I think I forgot to put mine down. Okay, here we go. We're back.
All right, so the question was,
I was
wondering if it's advisable to perform a pedicure after minks have been applied. The object of applying minks is, making sure you get the cuticle up and the surface of the nail plate is nice and smooth. So I don't know if you do that prior to applying your minks anyway. If you say you didn't do a pedicure, you do want to get all that up off the nail. So if you properly dry the nails out, you could do a wet pedicure, but when you're first starting off applying minks, it's not something I recommend to do right away because of how you're learning to apply the minks. You really want to make sure that you can apply the minks properly before adding a wet pedicure. Excuse me, a wet pedicure or scrub, or some people want to add oils and stuff like that. So it really would depend on how far you are and how well you can apply the minks would be my recommendation if it would be good for you to apply a wet pedicure to your minks. You can always do it afterwards, but again, it would really depend on how well you apply the minks.
So the thing about the application is to create a seal on the nail plate. And if you have not properly created that seal on the nail plate, a pedicure before or a pedicure after will affect that. It will affect whether your minks stay on.
Yeah.
So it really is about, okay, can I do this with or without? I would say, apply your minks. If you've been applying for a long time and you've been doing minks for, some time, and you feel like you're able to get toes that stay on 4 to 6 weeks, then, try it. Do a wet pedicure on yourself. Dehydrate your nails. Apply some heat to remove any excess moisture, and then apply your minks and see how they last.
And it all depends on, you remember, you're a nail tech. You're trying to get a service done in an hour to make a good amount of money, and so it's going to really depend on all of that to get it all done in an hour. So as you learn, you'll understand that you can't do everything at once because it'd be a 2-hour service. And that's just something that clients don't want to be, they don't want to do that.
Beautiful Diva says, can you apply minks to acrylic nails? So let's just start from the basics.
Yeah.
Minks is a solid application. It can go on top of the natural nail and any enhancement.
Yeah.
So really it's about prepping that nail surface appropriately. There are, everyone kind of has a difference of opinion as far as the gel polishes go. I've heard it go both ways. You can apply it with buffing or without buffing. So it really is about getting the nail plate as smooth as possible, removing any residue or anything that's going to hamper the adhesion of minks. If you know you've got a product on there that's probably going to flake in a couple of days, don't put minks on top of it because it's going to go up with whatever that product is. If you have nail polish on the nail, most likely your minks is going to chip like nail polish. It's going to come up because nail polish doesn't adhere to the nail well. Enhancements like acrylics, gels, gel polishes, silk wraps. What else is there? There's so many.
Everything. I mean,
Resins.
really, you can do it on anything. I mean, I don't recommend polish, like you said. It's mainly for like a quick 1 or 2 day concept of it, but it's not something I would recommend to do as a service. But as far as any other service on the block that you can do, Minx can go on top of it. We don't recommend to mix the products, but I mean, I've heard people do that. But this is a standalone product. If you apply it correctly, it does hold. And it's all really about the application. So, yeah, so that's what we're here to help all of you improve that application.
So Love Nails says, I would like to know, is there a huge difference using alcohol versus Scrub Fresh or any nail plate cleanser to cleanse the nail surface before applying the Minx? Crystal?
For sure. I've tried everything, you know, because again, I was they told me the basics and said, okay, go practice. And I've tried Scrub Fresh. They all have an acetone in it, and you don't want anything in there. If you're using a high percentage of alcohol, it helps. So, you know, like I use 99% and it works great. So if you are having an issue and you feel you are doing the application correctly, check the alcohol percentage. If you are using a 70% alcohol, I would switch it. So, you know, you can find 99% depending on who you shop through. I go through the industry source. So if you guys know the industry source, they have 99% alcohol. So, but 90% works too. Again, it's really going to depend on your application. And as you narrow down the 7 steps geared towards how we're, you know, explaining it to you, you'll be like, oh my god, that's all I needed to do.
The other thing is when you get a client who comes in for Minx for the first time and has nail polish on, and you're going to remove that nail polish based on the health of the nail and the condition of the nail, and then also the acetone that you're using, you need to cleanse that nail really well with the rubbing alcohol. For me, I have very porous nails right now. So if there were acetone applied to my nails, you know, my nails would probably absorb a lot of it. So Crystal would have to use a little bit more rubbing alcohol. Just make sure to really pay attention to the sidewells and getting any of that acetone away from the nail. Also, the free edge. If you have a client who has, you know, just enough free edge to trap some moisture under there, you make sure to clean it. It's part of your service. And it will only help you.
Yeah, and really that's all involved in the consultation and just looking at your client's nails and knowing what kind of nails they have, if they need more attention in that part, you know, if they have oily nails or if they do have peely nails. So yes, so just really giving them a good consultation does help in every client. So now we have H. Wally. I lost the web connection and didn't see the actual application of the Minx. What is the key to a good seal at the top of the nail? It's all about pressure. So if you're using a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, really emphasize the free edge, really emphasize the corners, and even around the cuticle area. So what we did was the consultation, and then Crystal applied the Minx. We're going to go back and we're going to talk about layering today. So you're going to get a chance to see us do that again. The consultation and the prep, pretty basic. I mean, rubbing alcohol, we want to catch you up, but you will be able to watch this again. So if you missed it, you can go back after the show and watch the video again, and watch us go through the 7 steps again. Alrighty. Alright,
so layering.
What are you touching your nail for?
I don't know, because I'm spazzed.
Alright,
Crystal's watching me just go, and she's like, okay, I want to slap her hand.
Bad client.
I am a bad client. I'm the worst. I keep my fingers all stiff, and she's always patting me. Relax, relax.
Alright, so now we are going to go into layering, and yeah, so everyone grab your drink. Let's go.
Oh, and if you haven't seen the layering video, Joe will put up a link to the layering video so you can watch this again later. There goes Crystal. Bye. She's gone. Oh, I can't stop laughing. Oh my gosh. Joe will put up a link to the layering on our site, but I can give that to you verbally real quick. It is www.minxnails.com/layering. LAYERING. Let's go.
Okay.
Manicam. Oh, we are goofballs today.
All right.
Okay, let's get these suckers hot.
All right.
Let's get them hot.
Bad me. So now for layering, I am going to do what I call silver bullets, which is what I've used a base coat of Minxolution with the gunmetal gradient sides, and that's the... Sorry guys, I knocked over the camera. All right, there we go. With the, it's the black one. If you place that over top of chrome or Minxolution, it looks like a silver bullet.
It's beautiful. I'm excited because I'm a black and chrome kind of girl.
I
like it.
May I have your other hand? All right, so let's see here. Let me see if I can slide this over, guys.
Do you want me closer? Do you want me here? Where do you want me?
I do want you there, actually.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty picture of the corner of the room. Just teasing. You put your arm up, it's good.
So what I did prior to heating them up, I've placed the black gunmetal dissolve, or gradient, sorry, over top of the Minxolution already, base coat.
And that's just one method of layering. So there are two methods of layering. One is to actually apply on the sheet. So one thing that this will give you is a little bit more control once you've heated the Minx. The base coats tend to be so much thinner and so much more heat sensitive. They kind of curl up backwards and get a little crazy on you, and Crystal will show you that process later, but for now we're going to show you the process where she actually layered right onto the sheet of the base coat.
And just remember, I do recommend doing layering when you have one layer down. I don't recommend doing this any sooner because it does require a lot more heat and a lot more pressure. So I really want you guys to focus on one layer, but if you are past doing one layer, then definitely try doing 2 layers. It does give you a wide selection of other options of, you know, designing your own style Minx with what Minx already currently has. So yeah, so now I've heated these up really well, and I'm placing it back under the heat with the adhesive side up.
And we want to show you how curly that Minx got. It's very, 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 very warm. It's very curly. It's got kind of a liquidous.
He's saying hello.
Hello. I can't see.
Oh, now he's. Oh, there he goes. Okay. He was really starting to curl up. Okay, so now I'm gonna place it on the nail. Let me get this camera right before I. And again, you get about 20 seconds.
And Crystal rocks from center to sidewell with the birchwood stick. And we want to, you know, let you know, we talk about don't rub the Minx. You don't want to rub them. You can smooth Minx in one direction down, applying pressure so that, you know, it adheres to the nail in a smooth manner. But what you don't want to do is rub kind of in a circular motion or back and forth, because what this does is you're constantly moving those molecules around. Now Courtney says, do you need to heat up the Minx if you're going to layer them on the sheet before placing them on the nail? Oh, okay, wait, but I think what she's asking is, do we need to heat them up to apply them to the sheet? No.
Heat them up if you're going to lay them on the sheet before. Oh, you want to, when you're applying them, like how I put them on the sheet prior to putting them under the heat, you do want to apply them cold to each other. You don't want to have them heated up and then applying them. You want to apply them in the cold state onto each other before applying them in the heat. Unless you do it separated, which will be the next way that we show you how to apply the layering. But if you apply it prior, you don't want to heat the minks up and then lay them on each other. It'll be a lot harder to get the crinkles and bubbles out that way. So if you lay it cold, it goes on a lot smoother.
The other thing is yeah, I mean, definitely want to make sure that when you're layering it on the sheet, that you're being careful about bubbles and things like that, because once they're together and they're on the nail, you're going to have a real hard time, if it's even possible, to get a bubble out.
Yeah, and it'll be hard for you to separate them too. Once you seal them together, they're
because the base coat is so raw,
yeah,
that it really takes to the adhesive from, the top coat.
Oops. So all I'm doing is heating it back up and putting more pressure down. And if you've been watching, I've just done that a couple times. I haven't even cut the excess off, because again, you want a lot of heat and a lot of pressure for this to really seal. Bring your head a little bit closer. There you go. Is it in the heat? I'm going to turn this off.
Okay.
And I really emphasize the corners and the free edge.
Okay, it says, should you size the minks to the cuticle or overlap the minks over the cuticle and trim it to size? Well, it depends on the person, right?
It really depends on the cuticle you're working on. And in the dry manicure, you want to get the cuticle more of a, a natural look, which would be either of a square effect or a rounded effect. If it's stuck to the nail plate, you're going to have issues with maybe cutting the client because it's attached to the nail, if that makes any sense. So really giving a good push back, or making sure the cuticle's up off the nail plate so it does fall back.
But both of those methods are correct. I mean, you can absolutely place minks over the cuticle and trim it to size.
Yes.
I think the easiest thing you could ever do is have a client that fits every template. I mean,
it's always nice.
I am pretty easy to fit. But some people have, really strangely shaped nails.
Yeah, and some people will be harder. You might have to overlap it and cut it down. But again, if you don't want to cause more work that you need to, so you want to find the best way to apply it without giving yourself more work. So again, that's why I was saying, manicure is always good to do prior to it. Because you're pushing back that cuticle, or again, you can overlap it and trim it down, but I prefer to go the easiest route, and it just makes your job easier. So I am using the curve file here, and I'm going from one side to the other and repositioning the minks.
And can you guys see how flexible my nails are right now? I think Crystal's choice, and I'm just going to confirm this with you, your choice of file is based on the fact that my nail is so weak, right?
Yeah. Curve file, you don't have to put so much pressure on it to file the nail, and she does have longer nail here versus the other finger, it was a little bit shorter. And I like to use the curve because you do have to go back with the curve when you cut anyway to make sure you got a nice seal up to the free edge. With the crystal file, you need a lot of pressure and a certain angle to get that cut, and it does take a skill level to do that. It's just this one spot. So you still got it?
Yeah, we're still in.
Closer. How about that?
That's great.
Okay, my finger's gotta stay up. With that curve file, it's a little bit more skill level and a lot more pressure.
The great thing about the curved file, or the straight file, the crystal file, is that if your nails are strong enough and your manicurist is using the crystal file correctly, you're actually reinforcing the seal at the free edge. And so that's why we recommend the use of the crystal file. It does require a certain level of pressure, and that pressure does reinforce the seal at the free edge. So everything you can do to reinforce that seal at the free edge is going to, work towards the, the long-lasting effects of your minks. Now, one of the questions was, how long should a minx application last on the hands? This has got to be the #1 question we get, just in speaking with people about minks and meeting new nail technicians. It depends on the skill of the manicurist, and it depends on the condition of the nail. Crystal's one of the most skilled manicurists you'll ever see apply minks. And I will tell you, because my nails are flexy and, kind of damaged, my minks will last about, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks, where I was normally getting 2 to 2.5 weeks. So it will take a toll on, my minks application, the fact that my nails are not in the greatest condition. The next question is from Shermag. I wanted to know, can you put a clear gel over the minks? We don't recommend that. Minx is a standalone product. It was meant to go on top of any nail enhancement and or natural nail. The clear gel, as clear as it can be, will take away from the shine and the beauty of a minx. The other thing is that you would have to rough up the surface of the minx in order to have the clear gel apply well and stay intact. So really it defeats the purpose of wearing minx.
Yeah, whatever you're putting on top of the surface, depending on the product you're putting on top of the minx, will lose the beautiful flawlessness and shine effect of the minx. But if you do the application correctly, you don't need all that. We do recommend that you don't put anything on top. And a lot of people are really understanding on how it's applied, so we would really love to show you, Shermag, how to apply it properly so that you don't want to put the gel over top, because minx is so fun. I mean, it kind of ruins the whole look of it. And we love minx.
We love minx.
So let me just reinforce what I was doing. I removed the excess with a curved file going from one direction to the other. Once I removed the excess, then I did like a down method with the curved file. And what I recommend when you use the curved file, it's an awesome tool, but because it's curved, it does, if you do long strokes with it, it does, cut up the top of the minx. So I do recommend doing little short strokes with that, and it does work awesome for the minx. After I did remove the excess, I had to reinforce the free edge, and I placed it back under the heat using heat and pressure, and let that cool for 20 seconds after. And every time I do that, it's just reinforcing that, making sure it's really shrink wrapped to the nail plate. And the more you heat and pressure, the more it'll hold, and that will really depend on how well it holds, how much heat and pressure you used during the service. So when you do emphasize that heat and the pressure and the cooling method, really just do one nail at a time, and cooling it, going to the next one, doing the same service, cooling it, taking the next finger, doing that. If you're placing all the fingers under the heat at one time and trying to go real fast with each one, you're really not paying attention to each finger, and each finger needs the love.
Yeah, you know what? If you're really trying to divide your attention in that 20 seconds over 5 nails, you're not applying enough pressure.
Yeah.
So you've defeated the purpose of that heating series.
So it's really crucial to really use a lot of heat and a lot of pressure for each little nail, and give it a little love.
And you know what? You'll see a difference in your application.
And again, the more you do that, if you keep looking at that nail plate, you'll see what we mean by it just keeps right up to the nail, like shrink wraps.
It grabs on and it takes hold. And so all you need to do is reinforce what it's doing. Now, Allie July says, what is the suggested way of removing minks? So there are two methods for removing minks, and really it is dependent on the client's condition of a nail. If you know your client has a damaged nail and or a rough surface that may attach itself to the minks even stronger, then you're going to want to use acetone to remove the minks, because you just want it to slide off. You don't want to take any of that nail plate with you. If you have a nice, strong, even nail surface that is in really good condition, you can remove minks with heat. And what you'll want to do is push the minks off the nail plate after warming under the heat. You'll want to push it off with a birchwood stick or a hoof stick. Never pull it, because you're going to pull the nail plate right off. You want to make sure to just push across the nail from side to side. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
So I hope we've answered your guys' questions.
Please let us know if there's anything still hanging out there that we haven't answered.
So what I'm going to do on the pinky now is I'm going to do the two, I'm going to separate it. I'm going to do first the base coat application, and then I'm going to go back and apply the top part, which would be the gunmetal gradient sides in black, and show you that method. And
one thing we want to say is don't ever use your base coats alone.
Yes.
Those base coats, it's very clearly marked on the sheet that it's a base coat, and it actually has the Minx symbol on the thumbs. And those are indicators that you're using a base coat. If you were to put that on a client and send them out without a top coat, I guarantee you within 24 hours they would be wearing clear minks.
They will be back.
They will be back and not happy. So please pay attention to your product line and know your product line.
So because base coats don't have a top on them, they get really rolled up and kind of curl up really easy.
They're super heat sensitive.
So you don't really need too much heat, and it gets really soft really fast. So
you can either turn your heat down or get ready to work fast.
Yes. And again, I just use pressure going from center to sidewall. And then on this side there's a little bit left over, and we'll go back and trim that.
When you trim, you want to make sure to leave a little bit of a margin on the nail so that the Minx is actually sealed onto the nail plate and not into the sidewall on your skin, or anywhere where it can collect moisture.
Well, you really need it to attach to the nail, and if it's overlapping in any way, it's not attaching all the way, it's really overlapping, and by the naked eye it does look like it's attached. So you really got to check into the sidewalls on that area, because if it is overlapping and you don't see it, that will lift up for sure.
If you make a mistake while placing the Minx on the nail, is it advisable to reheat the Minx and replace it onto the nail, or should you use a new one? Really depends on the damage.
Yeah, it really depends on what you did to the Minx. Some of them, if you heat them up and you pull it off the nail, it'll stretch really easily, depending on how much heat you put on it before pulling it up. And then sometimes, depending on the actual design that you picked, and if you did stretch it out, if you placed it back under the heat, while it was off the nail plate, it will retract to its original state. But again, if the design was too stretched out, it will look funny. So in some designs you can get away with that, and it will
reconstitute almost to its original
shape, and it'll be fine. And then in some cases you do have to use a different one. Now if you do the French Minx, which is where the top part is clear, then and you pull it up too many times, you will see all that kind of gunk on the clear part. So with those you do only get really one chance, and then you have to use another one. So in that case, yes, but you know, you're going to judge it by what you're doing to the nail, and you know, what happened to the minks. And because again, you want to give that client the best experience possible, because minxes can be really fun and flawless if you can apply it correctly. So we really want to emphasize giving the client the best experience, because if they do love it, and even if it didn't hold as long as they wanted to, if it did look really awesome and flawless and smooth, you know, they'll probably come back and get it done again. And they're going to recommend it to your friends, and to their friends, excuse me. Excuse me. But one of the other things that I was going to say is, you know, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and so this is the time when you're doing your very first, you know, Minx application on that client. You know, this is the time to talk to them about wearability, what they should and shouldn't do in their daily life, in order to keep Minx, you know, on nicely. You know, I wouldn't recommend getting Minx manicure and then going out and working in your garden without gloves. I wouldn't recommend, you know, scrubbing toilets without gloves. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, you can do differently. There's, you know, the whole, if you're a picker or scratcher, that's going to affect your Minx wearability. If you are a scratcher and or you have, you know, itchy skin and you're going to scratch your arm, you're going to scratch downwards against the, you know, not against the nail but with the nail, so that you're not pulling up that Minx from the free edge. You know, each time a person wears Minx, they get better at it. So you need to maybe talk to your clients about giving like a 3-set package. So, you know, the first one's not going to last but maybe 8 days, because they're going to go out and beat the heck out of their Minx. But then they're going to come back for the second set, and they're going to, you know, have learned something in the process of wearing Minx the first time. So it is something that, you know, you want to discuss with your clients. You want to manage their expectations. You want to make sure that they're getting what you promised. And so when you promise a time frame, that's kind of scary. I would say, you know, Minx will not come off. They won't just fall off on their own when they're applied correctly. You will get a little wear and tear at the free edge. And this is something you can talk to your clientele about. So what I've done is I've placed the base coat on, and Jen does have weak nails, but the cool thing about it is when you use a base coat, they're very thin. So you don't have to use as much pressure and can really cut these. So, you know, even if you have a lot of base coats and you don't really do any layering right now, they're a great way to practice that method of, you know, that 45-degree angle, and thank you, and cut the crystal file, and you can get it to cut really easily. So yeah, so but they do not, you know, because there's no top coat on it, they don't last. So it would be rubbed off in, like, you know, maybe.
Trying to get that nail without getting too much of the light of the heat.
So then I removed it with the crystal file, going from one direction to the other in one direction. Wow. And if you're left-handed, you would go the other direction. Now I'm taking the black gunmetal gradient, and ooh, this mama is hot.
Okay, when using the French manicure Minx, why does the body of the Minx look so short compared to the white tip? Am I applying them correctly? You know, French
are very hard to do.
French are hard to do, and the traditional French manicure actually has less of the clear and more of the white. This is, you know, old school, and it really is a matter of preference. So, you know, that's just the way the design is made. You're not applying them incorrectly.
And I've noticed using the French is, you know, not everyone's going to be the right candidate for those French Minx, unfortunately. And then I charge more for French because they do sometimes get printed a little crooked, or so there's a little bit more skill level than manicures has to work with. So I do charge more for those because I do end up having to take a little bit more time because you have to have them looking precise and natural looking for the client, or they just don't look right.
But to me, I mean, as much as I love a French, it's not traditionally a minx. I mean, I wouldn't say like minx is flashy. It's got all kinds of designs.
Oh yes, they definitely look like French.
It is so
you can't even tell. You can't tell that they're minx. They look like someone painted them on. If you use the natural, pink and white ones. Alright, so I'm just reinforcing that, and again, if you use enough heat and enough pressure, you can see where her nail ends.
Yeah.
So if you don't see that, before you start removing the excess, I would recommend to, warm it up a couple more times and put some more pressure down and let it cool, and you'll start to see that.
So you guys need to look at heat and pressure as your friends in this application process. If you're trying to avoid using the heat, you're really not going to have any success. Heat is key. Pressure is key.
Really,
and pressure is not just a light feathering of the finger. It is pressure. You're going to press down. You're going to make sure that
you just have to communicate with your client.
Yeah.
I do get even manicurists going, "Oh, that hurt," but you really, I mean, you just have to communicate with everyone. Everyone's pressure point's going to be different, and if they don't like the pressure, they might just not be a good candidate for minx. It's just
either that, or you're going to have to do a whole lot more heating and pressure and heating and pressure and heating and pressure until you've got that thing really sealed down to the nail.
So again, I used a little bit more heat and pressure. I mean, again, you can really see where that nail ends. So I'm going to use the curve file because this one is a true fool's minx. And because her nails are really weak, the curve file is easier to use without worrying about the nail bending. And I'm doing the down method. I'm just repositioning the minx where we need to file. And we'll use some scissors for the corners. You never want to pull and stretch the corners there if you think you just have a little piece hanging. It will stretch out the minx, and then that part won't attach. You don't want to stretch the minx in any way.
Stretching over the free edge or pulling at the minx really does cause problems at the free edge. If you've noticed that you have your free edge actually feels like it's retracting and or curling backwards, that's usually a result of stretching. So you want to make sure you're not stretching minx. You want to leave the integrity of the product, the shape of the product intact. You never want to change that. So if you need to upsize the nail because it's not covering the nail plate, then that's what you need to do and go back and trim. But never, ever, ever try to stretch a minx to the size of a nail or go up a size with minx, because when it cools, it will go back to its original state and it will snap back.
So what I'm doing now is I'm lifting up the edge here where the minx overlaps the nail, and if you used enough heat and pressure, you'll see where it's a perforated line and where you're going to cut, and we're just going to go right in there with some cute little scissors and trim up the free edge here.
Or up the sidewall and the cuticle.
What did I say, up the edge?
Of the free edge.
Oh my bad. And there's one little spot here I've got to... There we go. And again, since I've cut or filed, I'm going to place it back under the heat. and apply pressure again. That's a nice bullet.
I know. So we have time. It's only just barely 9 o'clock. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, we can do another. Sure, unless someone's got any questions or comments or would like us to do something, focus on something.
Is there any
Please let us know.
troubleshooting you guys need to see today? I mean, we can switch gears and go to troubleshooting anything that you're having trouble with, or you know, you want to see how the Twizzlers work, or can you focus on the filing, you know, whatever it is you guys need to see. We're happy to switch gears from layering to do that, or we can keep on going with what we have. So please let us know if you need us to switch gears. We're going to give you guys a minute to respond. Oh, Twizzlers, yes, everybody wants to talk about how the Twizzlers work and how to use them properly.
These are handy dandy Twizzlers. They're half tweezers and half scissors, and the object is you need very thin blades to apply, you know, to get right up against the nail plate to trim it down. So these are our best sellers. They even say the word Minx really small right there. These things are hard. They're great, but it's hard to keep them in stock. Really, these, you want to have a base. If you see, I have a couple fingers underneath. And when I take Jen's hand, you have like a support system, so when you actually get in there, you're just cutting up the sidewall. Now, if you're using regular scissors, it's kind of, you're holding them a little bit different, but these ones are really simple to hold. But when you place the scissors into the sidewall, you're really not moving the bottom part of the scissors. You're really just focusing on cutting from the top. So if you look closely, the bottom isn't really moving. It's more the top part of the scissors is moving when I cut. So in that way, you're not digging the blade into the client's sidewall there. And if you do have it really attached to the nail, if it's really hard to get really close up to the nail, you might have to lift the Minx up a little bit with your stick and cut really close and then lay it back down. And that's why you always reheat it back up after you filed or cut, because you do break that seal sometimes and you do need to reseal it. The great thing about the Twizzlers is it gives you the ability to go around a curve. It gives you the ability, you know, you can hold it how you need to hold it. You're not limited by the shape of the tool itself, to really get in there and do it safely without hurting the client. We like them because they're lightweight. They also don't require a lot of pressure to move them, so you're getting less movement with the hand. Your hand actually can stay pretty still. You're really only moving the bottom half for, you know, for the scissors to cut. So, and again, these are awesome. So if you don't have them already, get them. Get them. Available on the site under Minx Tools and Accessories. So yeah, so I'm going to apply another Minx to Jennifer's hand. Would you like this one, or would you like a layering?
No, let's do one more of these.
Okay.
I like this.
I know, they're very pretty.
So I'm going to call out the 7 steps. She's already done the consultation, shaped the nail, and prepped the nail surface. The Minx are under the heat, so she's already dehydrated the nail plate with rubbing alcohol. So we're already through to step number 3. Step number 3 is remove the Minx from the sheet and place under the heat until floppy. So that's what she's doing now.
Hi, everyone.
And then she's going to go ahead and apply that.
And again, you get about 20 seconds. It's going to take me 20 seconds to get it on the nail plate. And tap the top around the cuticle and then rock it to the sidewall.
The idea is you don't want to get any crinkles and bubbles in it in the first application. And the more heat you have on the Minx that makes it really soft, the easier it is to lay without any crinkles and bubbles.
Okay, when are the new Minx patterns from the IBS shows going to be available online? I am thinking that by the end of this week we should have, because what we did was we kind of launched 9 at the show when the line is only going to be 8. So it was kind of a test run for us to see, you know, what the top sellers were. From that test run, we will make a decision about those top 8, and we will launch here shortly. We do have everything ready to do that. So I just need a confirmation from the Minxes and Lisa Logan that we all agree on the designs, and then we will get those up. So keep your eye out on your email, because you will get a launch announcement in your email.
And so if you were at the Vegas show and you got the chance to look at all the designs and get them, you might have some exclusive ones.
You might have, yeah, you might have one design that is never going to be launched, or it may not be launched for a year or 6 months, or you know, so
it is kind of fun if you do make it to the trade shows and you get a chance to see what there might be out there that may not be out there again.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I'm just using heat and pressure right now because this white one just seems like it's not really attaching. Sometimes you get that where it just looks like it's not really up to the nail. So I'm just using more heat and more pressure just because of the way it looks. And sometimes that happens. You're doing it and it doesn't seem like it's really attaching to the nail. For some reason, it could be, you know, maybe someone was playing with their fingernail plate.
Like me.
Or, you know, I didn't
with their sweaty fingers.
Or she's got really sweaty fingers. That's correct. She does have sweaty fingers.
I do have sweaty fingers. Every once in a while you see Crystal has to re-wipe the nails with rubbing alcohol because my fingers sweat. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the, I don't know. Maybe it's the heat.
She's on fire.
And today I have a lip twitch, which I've never had before, and really sweaty fingers.
You should do an Elvis.
Except it's like the lower right hand side of my lip just is all. I don't know what's going on. Feeling goofy. Feeling like, wow, is it really Monday?
Oh my.
Really? Did my weekend fly by that fast?
I only get 1 day a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, but you get, well, no, you get a 1 day weekend. I'll shut up now. Sorry.
We're usually working all the other days. So I'm just trimming up the sidewall. And around the nail here where...
This nail is the worst nail of all of them because it is, it not only was, you know, beat up by the acrylic application and removal, but it also flakes at the free edge because I play goalie, and I don't know what it is about this nail, but in my glove, it sticks in my glove for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
And when I grab the ball, it always pulls down on this nail. So
maybe put some cuticle oil before you put gloves on. Like slap it on there.
Yeah, I can't have slick fingers trying to catch a ball coming at my face at 40 miles an hour. I don't know if that's how fast they go, but it feels like it. But anyway, so she's trimming because this is
just
the best method for this nail.
And again, you really want to check the corners, the sidewalls.
Okay, so the next question is, what is the next trade show where Minx will be? Oh, someone Someone's got their eyebrow up. Someone's thinking, oh, I want limited edition nails. I want first chance at a new launch. Of course. You know what? We just rounded out our first year schedule. So we won't actually have our second half of the year schedule for at least a month. So I'm so sorry, but as soon as we know what those events will be, we'll be there. We'll share them with you.
Yeah, we'll let everyone know here on Minxy Mondays.
So I also wanted to let everyone know that we have upgraded our justin.tv account so that you can watch all the episodes back for as long as you need to. We had this limited account we didn't know it was possible to upgrade from. And so I kind of threw a little tantrum, and of course Justin TV, being as awesome as they are, said, hey, we can do that. So we have made it available to you as long as we stay under, I think it's like a gigabyte amount of, I don't know, I have no idea what the limit is, but I think we should be able to keep at least 5 videos up at one time. So over the next few weeks, if you want to go back and watch any of the videos, they should be available.
Even the ones from before?
No. Okay, so the ones that were lost, they're lost.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this will be our very first and only nail layering video that we have up. So,
okay.
And then we're gonna have to name them and make them stand out so you'll know what they are.
Oh, we're working on that.
We're working on all of that stuff. The logistics of this aren't complicated, but it's like you always think of everything after the fact. So, poor Jen. My brain is wore out.
Jen needs some sleep.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but I cannot recover from the trade shows. I'm having a bit of a hard time.
I think we had so much fun. We've got videos to
airbrush
machine to tanning machine.
Yeah, Crystal's going into the tanning business.
Jen's going into the airbrush makeup business.
Only for us for Minxy Mondays. I bought a airbrush makeup because quite frankly, I'm sick of seeing my face look so ugly on our broadcasts. So
she's silly.
I talked my husband into getting us an airbrush makeup machine.
The cool part is I think Isaac's going to be the one airbrushing.
Yeah. 4 o'clock in the morning on a Minxy Monday. He's gonna have had enough of us for sure. But no, he is a sport, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely a sport. We do have a video. Hopefully I can convince Jen to let us play it on the show.
Oh yeah, no, we are gonna show it. Next week we are going to show you what we think is the world's funniest video. It's probably not gonna be as funny in the hindsight, because we were a little bit inebriated when we made this video.
And it was like 2 in the morning.
Hilarious.
If you guys have never been to Vegas, you gotta go and do this video. It's about like singing a song with these funny character bodies on a TV screen, and they add your head to the body, and you're supposed to dance with the body and sing to the song that you picked. Well, if you aren't too intoxicated and can keep your head on the body,
it works out great.
It works out funny.
But if you're Jen in Vegas at 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, it's gonna be funny.
She was not able to keep her head on her body.
Oh, but the Crystal couldn't stop laughing, so all you get is Crystal hysterical face. Face. We had a lot of fun.
We'll keep the rest to you guys next week.
We'll show the rest next week, but it was a blast. We had a great time together. We got to bring Rosalind from our team here in Fallbrook out to Vegas with us, and we had a great time. When we did good at the show. Everyone got to learn something at the show. Crystal doing demonstrations and a little bit of Minx education at the show.
Yes,
was really good.
And I know we'll probably be in the Nails magazine and the Nail Pro magazine, so
yeah,
check us out.
Look for us. We took some great pictures. We had fun.
Yes, we did. So, any other questions? Should we,
Well, I guess we could do a little product spotlight. We could talk about the iPhone app and, using Minx info to to your advantage. Let's switch cameras. Here we go. Okay. Woo. Come on, Crystal.
I'm coming.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I gotta get some stuff.
All right.
Okay. So the first thing we want to talk about is the Minxy iPhone app. Now, the Minxy iPhone app looks like this. It's not very clear on there, huh? Well, we do have an iPhone app. It's a free iPhone.
That looks clear to
me. We have an iPhone app. It's a free iPhone app in the App Store on iTunes. It will allow you to share Minxy images and Minxy designs with your clientele without showing pricing. It'll allow you to put it into your shopping cart and leave that shopping cart open until you are ready to place your order. So that way you can compile your order from multiple clientele, and then at the end of the week or at the end of 2 weeks or a month or however long, then you can place your order and have them ready just in time for your client to come in and get the next set of Minxy.
It's great for those nail techs that can't have every one in stock. This way you can order it when need be.
Yeah, with
for your next client.
Over 350 designs, I can't imagine any of you having them all in stock. And this is a good way to combat that issue.
Okay. So yes, it's really handy, and it's available to anyone that's has Minxy, correct?
Yeah. Available to anyone who has a Minxy account.
Yes.
And if you can't get access because you're out of the country and you don't have a Minxy purchasing account, you work with our distributor, you can still get that app and have it work. Just send an email to info@minxnails.com.
Can you see it?
So the problem with this is that you can't barely see it, but we wanted to.
Oh, but you can see it kind of.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, right there.
Don't
move.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so this is one of the Minxy decals. The Minxy decals come in an array of shapes and sizes. That's the extra large one.
They're very fun and chromy.
22 inches, I think. So that one,
it's pretty big.
That one can go on your car. It can go on the storefront window. It does come in chrome. So this is a chrome color. Just so you know, I know you can't see it through the paper, but it is a chrome colored Minxy, and it's reverse printed so that you can put it on your window.
And it's a lot of fun, but
we have
because they're chromy, you do have to replace them if they're out in the sun.
Yeah, maybe if I take it out of the bag, you will see it a little bit better. So we have one that's a little bit smaller, and then the smallest one, which is probably about this big, comes in the kit. And you know, all of these are on our site for sale.
Yes. So if you don't have it, you can put it in your store window.
Yeah, get your Minxy decal. Let people know you have Minxy. We have, just so you know, we have a lot of hits on our website. Ooh, that's the Minxy symbol.
This is the Minxy symbol. If you guys don't know what it is, it's our logo.
Yeah, then you can put those side by side in the window. And
doesn't it come in a smaller size as well?
It comes in 2 more sizes, I think.
3 sizes? Okay, I've seen 2 of them. This one's a really big size, depending on where you're putting it.
I would put it next to your large Minxy decal.
Yeah.
In the window.
The one that's a little bit smaller, this is probably the medium size one, is a really good size for anything.
And it goes well with this one.
Yeah, for your car or whatever.
So really do some branding work. That's definitely a key. We get a lot of hits on our website every day. People looking for manicurists in their area who do Minxy.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is if you have the Minxy 5-fold brochure, one thing that I've been telling people at the shows, and it's really kind of cool, is that you can take each of these images off the card. You could, you know, take this one and cut it off, and this one and cut it off, and this one and cut it off. Put them in frames and use them as displays in your salon. So this has a lot more than just info in it. It also has the timeline on the back side. Tells
really
a lot about how Minx got started, where we started, and where we're going. We're getting there.
It's really cool to see how it's grown over the years.
We do have a question. It says, if ordering large quantities, does Minx work out pricing deals?
Large quantities, that's something we would address, you know, outside of Minxy Mondays. So please send an email to info@minxnails if you have a specific question about pricing and things like that. It's not that we don't encourage large orders. I just don't have the answer. Training right here. How do
we're just the
give
training
Minx
people.
Okay,
So.
how do clients give Minx ratings on your site? I see some stylists have ratings and want to encourage my clients to rate us as well.
Tell your clients about it.
Well, there is a rating process. You're welcome to ask your clients to rate, you know, I don't know how that actually works.
The client goes on there. I know the client goes on there and somehow rates the nail tech. And the more people that rate those, you know, then you get the little stars on there.
The symbols also are given for time of minxing, how long you've been minxing, and actually your quantities of purchase. So if you're purchasing large quantities, repeatedly, obviously you're touching more clients. That's going to give you more experience and more symbols on the site. So that's how our client rating works. And if you want more details on that, please email info@minxnails.com. Now, the other thing I wanted to highlight, I saw on Facebook this morning, is that Tom Baycheck is going to be on Nail Talk Radio tonight. We're really excited.
Tom!
We love Tom, so we wanted just to give you a little shout out. Don't forget to go to Nail Talk Radio tonight.
Yeah.
And you can find that at nailtalkradio.com. Is that the
I don't know. It's a phone
find us
number.
on Facebook. I think we have them as friends, and you know, you can get that information. If you have more questions about that, you can also email info@minxnails.com. I'm going to just for a second put up our information so that you can reach out to us on email, Twitter, and Facebook. You can reach us at Minx Nails at Facebook. You can reach us at minxnails.com on Twitter, and obviously our email is info@minxnails.com. Okay, Crystal, let's talk about the Minx Pro on the Go.
All right.
The Minx Pro on the Go is an awesome, beautiful case that we carry here at Minx. That is, you know, if you are doing stuff on location, this is a great, beautiful case to purchase. It's really affordable, and it fits your Minx heat inside with your Minx and all your little, you know, alcohol, your sticks, your tools, and even your lint-free wipes easily in this handy dandy case.
It's all Minxed out, just so you know. It's got Minx branding all over the place.
Yep, and there's really cool magnet pockets on the one side and loops on the other side to hold all your items needed for a Minx application.
And the one thing that's really great is if you see, and I'm trying to make sure that I give you the right information, but if you see the pocket on the right hand side, just so you know, no, that one. This side is actually big enough to hold your Minx heat.
Oh, yeah.
So as much as you probably think, oh, there's no way. Yes, there is a way. Coil up that arm, slide that Minx heat in there. You've got room for everything else also, and you're ready to go. But the Minx heat does fit in this. This is so super lightweight. So just add the heat, and that's about as heavy as it gets.
It's very Minxy. It's an awesome
super
case.
sexy, and it's available
$59.
Yeah, $59 on the Minx website. It does come with a really nice strap, and everything you need can fit inside. So the Minx Pro on the Go is made for you manicurists who are on the go, like Crystal, who's Miss Beauty on the go.
Miss Beauty on the go.
So there you go.
All
There's
right.
that. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? We've got so much going on all the time. Oh, there's the other size. No. Okay, so we're 9:26 a.m. Do we have any other questions? We have about a half hour left of Minxy Mondays, and we've kind of covered everything. We're happy to go through and finish my manicure. I'm so spoiled.
She's like, oh, let's do another application.
Let's do the rest of my hand.
I mean, we can. I don't care.
Okay. So, does anyone have any other questions that they want to have us address? Because we're at the point where we've got about a half hour left. We're happy to work on anything that you want us to. And address any questions. So please, if you are having any issues, please let us talk about it, because we want to make sure that that you're getting what you need from Minxy Mondays. That's why we're here. So we could go on with my manicure and address anything that comes up, or I could get my fingers chopped off because I'm picking out my nails. I can feel you looking at me. Let's go to
my sunglasses.
What about Minx Arts? Okay, you know what? The production of Minx Art has been put on hold for just a moment. We will make an announcement via email and also on Minxy Mondays as soon as they are ready. We do apologizing for jumping the gun on Minx Art. We're really, really excited about this product offering, and I'm sure everyone else is really excited about it. We are getting ready for a lot of launches, and a lot of things are going on at Minx, and it had to be one of those things that we just needed to put on the back burner for a moment. So bear with us.
So
please
they're
be
not
patient.
going away.
They're not going away.
We're still gonna sell them. Just give us a little bit of time.
Right.
And,
we jumped the gun, and we apologize for that sincerely. Especially we know Auto 1968 that you've been really excited about this product offering, and we're really excited about it too. And we want to make sure we do it right. In the process, we just need to make sure that we're able to offer it to you on a consistent basis. And right now, where we're at, we just need a few more days, a couple more weeks. I don't know what the answer is, but please be patient with us, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we are going to go ahead and finish some nails.
Okay, let's move to the Manicam.
There we go. Okay, so
we need music. We keep saying we're going to do music, and we always forget.
Well, then
You want to finish my Frankenstein thumb? What do we call it? Fester thumb. Uncle Fester thumb. Because I have a thumb that's really should have been a toe.
you have something on there. Is that acrylic?
Yeah, that's still that leftover acrylic from. I haven't been able to spend the time to get it, buffed out. Do you want to work on the other thumb?
Yeah, because I'm gonna want to get that all up, and I don't have a normal nail file.
Okay.
All right, so let's see here. So I'm gonna give her a quick little manicure again to make sure I get all this cuticle up, so we can get a nice, flawless look to the nail plate. I like to use the crystal file because it really emphasizes that area around the cuticle.
And while Crystal's working, she's heating the Minx.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that because you need a lot of heat and a lot of pressure to get these to attach. So if you're heating them up right when you need to use them, you are wasting a lot of time just doing that part alone, which when I first started, I did that and learned the hard way that you do definitely need to heat them up prior. So I'm just cleaning up all this cuticle she's got stuck to her nail. You know what I could do is I could just do one where it had all the gunk on it so that they could see how.
No. No. I
Just
can't.
No.
No. Because then you have to take it off, and then you'll leave, and then I'll be stuck with this weird finger. No. No, no, no.
Aww.
As much as I love you people and I want you to learn, just try it once on your own. I don't want to be the guinea pig for a bad application.
Alright, so I'm still getting all this cuticle up here.
And just so you guys know, in between, my applications, Crystal had applied that Lisa Logan designed, the other one that I was wearing, before we left Las Vegas. Actually, when we got to Las Vegas, I just took it off this morning, but in the meantime, over the course of the last few days, I've been applying cuticle oil just to the cuticle area and the sidewells, and up a little bit on the fingers. So I make sure to keep that area of my nails moisturized so that when they do grow back, they'll grow back nice and strong and healthy. It's still important to teach your clients, how to maintain a healthy nail. Just because they're wearing that isn't a concern anymore.
You do need to give cuticle oil to the nail surface in between your minks for a nice healthy nail. And we do love daddy oil.
We do love daddy oil. Famous Names makes a really great oil called daddy oil, and it's really a nail conditioning treatment.
It's a cuticle oil for your nails, and it's 95% organic. It is the best.
And it smells good.
It smells yummy.
And it's super stable, so you're not going to have any issues with, the oil breaking down or going rancid or any of that.
So Jen's got a peely nail here, so I'm just trying to get this one spot where it's already off, separated. Which this nail needs some cuticle oil. And bring your hand a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So before Monday, Jen, like Sunday or even Saturday, take off your minks and then put cuticle oil on your nails really well, like every couple hours.
Okay.
And then, so then when Monday morning comes, they're nice and hydrated, ready to go.
Okay.
But I wouldn't put cuticle oil on that morning. Ooh, beautiful nails now.
It's amazing what a little buffing and cleaning and cuticle removing can do.
What a little manicure can do to you.
Yeah.
So we're using alcohol. We recommend 90% or better.
We really recommend 99%, but we want you to be able to get, what you can get. So go the highest as you can.
And I'm going to use 2 to really make sure I get all the debris up off the nail plate. All right.
I'm going to take my ring off because whenever we work on this hand, it's hard for you to file because my ring's in the way.
Am I whacking it?
Mm-hmm.
Woo! It's warm up in here! All right, so let's see here what we got.
So Otto in Italy says, why don't you sell 99% alcohol? It's not so easy to find in Italy. You know what, with the import fees and everything, I think that you would probably not want us to sell Minx alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is it's a common product, but I know obviously it's not so easy to find where you are. I just recommend looking to find the closest distributor of that product to you. I just I don't know if we could ever make that available to you, but I'll let the Minxes know that you're interested in getting it through us. Thanks, Otto. Sorry, I wish I had good news for you today. I feel like I'm just poor Otto's getting all of our bad news.
So I'm putting heat and pressure down on the Minx to get it to really attach to the nail plate. And I'm placing it back under the heat, doing that with pressure. I would love to go to Italy.
Oh no. Me too. I'm Italian. Not wholly.
I could be Italian for a couple weeks.
No, my grandma's like the real deal Italian.
I can still go and be Italian for a couple weeks.
Not changing.
Woo, it's warm. Maybe I should bring my fan in.
It gets really hot in our little studio here.
Yeah, and for some reason it got really warm. We need a fan. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so I'm just again using more heat and pressure. Alright, wait a little bit here. Can you drop your seat for me?
Mm-hmm. If I can find a little handle.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this one's not working.
That nail's so flimsy.
It's like literally not getting to the edge. So I'm going to use the scissor method.
As soon as you see that something's not working, stop doing it. Find another way, because you don't want it to appear that you, first of all, don't know, what another method is for applying. And that's why we really want you guys to focus on doing your practice sets of Minx. I know many of you are just getting your kits and just learning how to apply Minx, and this is part of the practice. You want to do, oh shoot, we're off camera. Sorry guys.
Jen!
Okay.
So I've just removed the excess with scissors. Trimmed up the sidewall. Sorry guys, we got 3 more fingers, we can do it again. And now we're going to place it back under the heat to reseal the edge. Make sure that it's not overlapping in any way.
Before placing the Minx on the Minx, before placing the Minx on, are the Minx on the strip consistently under the lamp? Yes. Okay, so just so you know, because of us needing to be on camera and make sure that you see all parts of the application, Crystal has been moving the heat to my hand, and that is something you would not normally do. You would move the hand to the heat. Yeah. But see, when I go over here, I kind of disappear, and you can't really see what's going on as far as pressure and things like that. And so we'll make sure to let you know if anything changes. But what you do want to do is keep the Minx consistently under the heat as long as you are still applying.
Because again, you need a lot of heat and a lot of pressure to get the Minx to fully attach to the nail surface and to change the memory of the film from being flat to, on a round, more curved or involuted nail plate. So I am again placing it back under the heat, applying more pressure, and depending on how much pressure you're using and how much heat you're using, it's going to determine how well that's going to hold. Minx can last up to 2 weeks on hands and up to 6 weeks on toes. So if it's applied correctly, it can hold a good amount of time. But that longevity will determine on how it was applied. So there we go. We've got another pretty nail. And so
I like that one.
It's pretty. It's really pretty. So now I'm going to do a layered one. I'm placing it back under the heat because I do want it to be really soft and really pliable, because I do have two pieces together here to make our silver bullet, which is an awesome design with Minx. And I tap around the cuticle first, and then I rock it from center to sidewall. And if you use enough heat and enough pressure, it will shrink wrap. But you only get about 20 seconds, so do remember you have to stop what you're doing if if it takes you a little bit longer than 20 seconds. Place it back under the heat and try it again. If you're applying it when it's too cold, it will crinkle and bubble a lot. And you want to avoid that as much as possible so you get a nice, flawless look.
Now, anytime that the Minx feels stiff,
that's when it's in its cold state.
Yeah, you're in a cold state. So if you kind of test yourself, if you take a cold sheet and a hot sheet next to each other, or what you think is a hot sheet, and when you pull off the Minx, if it doesn't automatically kind of go into a curl, it's not ready. It's not hot enough.
Yeah, and if you pull one off a cold sheet, it's definitely a lot stiffer, flat. It's not really moving much. So that's what we mean when you use the heat. The heat will really make it soft and pliable. And the softer and hotter it is, the more it's really going to attach to that nail plate. So I'm just heating it back up, applying pressure again for a good 20 seconds. Really emphasize the free edge in the corners. Remember, the idea is you have to get the Minx exactly right on the nail plate without it overlapping in any way. If it overlaps, it will pull up. So you really need to pay attention to detail where the Minx is laying around the free edge, around the sidewalls, and around the cuticle. And that will come with time and practice. So now, since Jen has two Minx on, we're going to use scissors because it is thick and her nails are weak. So this way we can get a nice trim right up to the nail, and if you've sealed it enough, you'll see where the nail's free edge is. Ooh, that's a pretty bullet. And so,
what do you kill with silver bullets? Werewolves?
Huh?
What kills a werewolf, or even I think the same thing with vampires. They both die with the silver bullet and garlic, right?
I know with garlic. I've never heard the silver bullet part.
What I want to know is, what do you do? Throw the garlic at them? I mean, like,
I think you just show them.
You show them garlic,
or they smell it.
You eat it and breathe on them.
Is that what it is? Or you wear it? No, you can wear it too.
You can wear it like a necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic necklace.
Yeah, I think it's the smell. So I'm just going back and trimming up the edge here from when I cut.
No,
because
I think
you won't get.
You can kill a werewolf with a silver bullet.
Well, that's awesome. Good to know. So when I do come across one, I can grab a silver bullet. I'm going back and trimming the edge here, making sure I've got a nice, because when you cut with scissors, you're not getting it exactly right there on the edge, so you want to make sure that you do go back and trim it up, get all those fine little pieces straggling there. And sometimes it will go under the nail, so I do kind of put my nail under there and check it. And again, anytime you cut or file, you do want to place it back under the heat. Is that all right there, Jen? I'm not pressing too hard?
No, I love it.
Okay.
It's funny, you start to love heat and pressure because you know it's going to make your Minx last. Like, when I first got Minx done, I was like, oh my gosh, what a pain in the buns, because I didn't understand the concept. But it's okay to talk to your clients about minks and how they work.
Yes.
Okay, Y. Simmons wants to know what we were filing with. We were using the curved file. So I'm trying to find, there you go. We were using the
file
Minx curved
is
file.
Another option of files to use. It has a slight curve to it. You don't have to have a skill level for the curved file like you do with the crystal file. It's really easy. There are some things that you can't use the curved file for because there is a little ledge right on here that is not a file. So if you can't get past that when you're going to file the nail, then you know you can't use it. So there are some cases where you can't use it, but in a lot of cases you can. It's a great tool, really easy to use, but sometimes this little curve will get you and overcut the top of the Minx. So learning just to make sure that you don't overcompensate and cut over the top of the Minx is the only really struggle that I know people do get with this one. But otherwise, it's a great tool. We sell it here at Minx.
Especially nice for those people who have long nails and kind of soft nails.
Yeah.
Long and soft works. This is really great because you just don't have to apply that level of pressure that you have to apply with the crystal file. You don't get as much of a reinforcement from this file though, because you're not applying that much pressure. So you really have to rely on before you're in the filing position, making sure you apply enough heat and pressure. Because if you haven't, this file isn't going to help you secure that free edge.
So I'm placing the Minx back under the heat, so this adhesive side is up, so it gets really ooey gooey, and if you notice, it's kind of like falling over. And I'm placing it on the nail plate, and I'm rocking from center to sidewall. And I used a big one, so you guys can see when I cut up the sidewalls, and because I only had big ones. Because that will happen. You do get 20 pieces in a sheet, but sometimes if you go with the exact sizes on the first set, the second set you do usually have to cut down. So, you know, you will have to learn to trim up the sidewalls. And then, again, a lot of heat and pressure. And that will just keep reattaching to the nail more and more every time. And then I take the stick and I just push up on the part that's attached to the skin, so that when I keep heating it up and putting pressure down, it just enforces more and more on the nail plate. Because sometimes when it sticks to the nail, it's not really attaching to the nail plate. So you do want to lift up on the side where the Minx is attached to the skin so that it attaches to the nail plate.
I love this design.
I like it too. So again, I'm going to use scissors because Jen's nails Twizzers, because Jen's nails are pretty weak and short.
So the other thing that I would say that I think is key to a great application, and something that Crystal has always done consistently, is that she looks at each nail as an individual instead of looking at a hand and or two hands. Each nail is different and each Minx is a different shape, so you find the benefits in using one versus another. And also that, you know, if Crystal is hit with a challenge, she doesn't panic. She takes a deep breath and she does what she knows how to do. And she takes her time with each individual nail to make sure that each one is really, you know, given the attention that it needs in the application. I think if manicurists who are having a difficult time with their application could take a deep breath and just slow down and stop trying to beat the clock, they would actually surprise themselves. Their application would be better, and maybe spare themselves, I mean, at the most they are ever going to spare themselves is 10 minutes. And 10 minutes to me, you know, a week versus 2 weeks in length of application, I think it's worth it. I think having that happy client at the end is, you know, it's the most important thing, because you want them to come back and you want them to have, you know, trust in you, that you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that their nails look the best they can for as long as they can.
Now, I really enforce these corners because the corners always look like they're great, and then you go back and realize, no, they weren't. They're a little long. And the corners is really what first, you know, that's the first thing that'll usually come up, because people think that they've got a really good seal. So you really just make sure you get those corners really well, and just check around the sidewalls where the free edge is. See, like this side is just a little long. So you do have to make sure that that is the right size, because it will pull up.
Catches on clothing or in the hair.
Yeah.
It says, are all the Minx different sizes? Because some look the same size on the sheets. So are there 10 different sizes is my question? No.
No, let me show you. There's actually, I kind of know the numbers to them, but if you're new to Minx, you won't know the numbers.
You need to number them yourselves, or come up with a way to, you know, understand.
So you have a really, really big one, and this is the 1, okay? 2. Let me just change it to. And you got 3, and this is 4, and 4 is also down here, third to the end. So those are the same sizes. You've got after 3, it's 4, and then the third one to the end is 4. And then you've got 3 in the middle that are 5s, 5, 5, 5, and then you got 6, 7. And that's the same on both sides. So you do get 6 5s, which come in handy for people that wear acrylics or put Minx on acrylics. Unfortunately, like, some people do get, you know, bummed that they have more big sizes than little sizes, and it really will depend on what kind of nails you're always working on, as far as natural nails, acrylic nails, you know, toes, or big nail plates and little nail plates. So there is double, but if you have, you know, too many big sizes, then you just have to cut them down, and that's where this, you know, you do want to learn all the different removal techniques on how to remove the so getting comfortable with scissors, because unless you end up wasting the sheets, you will have to do a little bit of work.
Okay, so the next question is, what is the base coat advertisement on this packet? Well, this packet actually has a little, has a little star on it. It says base coat $5, because this is from one of our trade shows. So the base coats are going to be priced according to your distributor. So, I mean, I don't know what your pricing is, but this is our pricing in the U.S. The base coat is $5.
And the base coat is used for layering. And if you noticed here, what we used for Jen's nails was the base coat Minx solution. And it specifically says really big base coat, and has our little
do not symbol, which means do not use alone.
You don't want to use this alone. So if you notice, I applied the gunmetal gradient sides in black on top of the Minx solution to make it a full-on Minx. If you put the base coat on by itself, the design rubs off very quickly. So if you accidentally do that, your client will be back shortly with clear nails. So you don't want to use this alone. If you are going to use the base coat, like I was saying earlier, it's a great way to practice your cutting technique and, using less heat and still getting it to apply if you wanted to do that, but just know that you'll lose that design and it'll just look like clear. So if your client wants clear and you're just practicing and you have those and you want to, use them up and you're not layering right now, it's a great way to practice your certain techniques. So,
are there any questions out? We have about 4 minutes left. We'd be happy to answer any further questions. Okay, I am going to switch to the camera. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I am super short. Hi.
You're very short.
This is manicure mode. I'm trying to find the little lever on my chair.
Whoop. So it was definitely great to hang out with all of you here on Minxy Mondays. Sorry, we have not been here for 3 weeks. It would have been nice to have some fun, do it at the trade shows, but trade shows are so hectic. It's kind of hard to do a Minxy Monday. Maybe in the future.
Oh, Courtney does have a question.
Ooh.
She says, what is the difference between layering on the base coat Illusion and the regular Minxlusion? Okay, so Minxlusion is a standalone Minx, just like any other Minx, okay?
Or any other base coat.
So what it is it's a layer with a protector over it. The base coat does not have that protection, that layer of protection. It only has the color layer. So just knowing that there's nothing to protect it, that Minxlusion base coat needs to have Minx over the top.
Yeah.
Is that the best?
The reason why they did that was for layering, to make it a little bit thinner for nail techs to get it to really shrink wrap with a lot of heat and pressure.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, you need so much more heat to Minx on top of, one full Minx over at the top of another full Minx.
Yeah, so it's just helping the nail tech out with a little thin, a little bit less film on there.
It also reduces the cost of layering by 50%, so that's a big deal.
So, all right. Well,
okay, so
we'll hope to see you guys next Monday on Minxy Mondays.
We'll send out an announcement. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at info@minxnails.com. We are also checking our email on justin.tv/Minx Inc.
And if any of you guys want to add me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as MinxMasterSD.
Like San Diego.
San Diego.
Ooh. Okay, we're going to cut it short. Unfortunately, we have to go.
Bye.
Happy Monday. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Get your Minx on.
Bye.